be warned. It is my job to arm you against the foulest creatures known to wizard kind. You may find yourselves facing your worst fears in this room. Know only that no harm can befall you whilst I am here. I must ask you not to scream. It might provoke them!
Yo, what's going on, you guys? This is your favorite video game podcast, the Sticky Buttons podcast. This is your host, Brandon, with a really special episode, a little bit weird. You guys might not be accustomed to this, but I got some special guests here today. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
What's up, guys? My name's Edgar, pretty good friend of Brandon Prince. Also here with...
Yes, sir.
What's up, man? I'm Marc. I've known Brandon since middle school.
The Sandbox.
The Sandbox. So I'm glad he invited us.
Yeah. You know, it was Blake's birthday, March 1st. Shout out to Blake and his birthday. Wish you many more.
Yes, sir. Wish you were here,
and
bro.
he was like, yeah, I can't really record this week, so I need you to come through for me. And I hit up some good friends of mine, and here we are. We're going to talk about Hogwarts Legacy. I'm sure you've seen on our TikTok, we've been posting a lot of Hogwarts content. Hogwarts is a great game. I'm personally loving it, and I know my friends are too. So we're gathered here to talk about the game. You know, some likes, dislikes, kind of what we're experiencing. And yeah, let's get right into it. So I guess I'll start off with easy question. What are your favorite 3 spells? I'll go last.
Oh, wait, actually, before we do that, could we actually start with how you heard about the game?
For sure. That's a great place to start. You kick it off, Marc.
All right, well, I first heard about the game when they initially announced it. I was kind of skeptical about it because I was kind of hoping it'd be like a PlayStation exclusive game. More because
Wait, it's not?
No, it's not. It's on Xbox, PC, every console, even Switch.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so I thought it was going to be a PlayStation exclusive because I know they take more time with that.
Right.
The adaptive triggers, everything that comes with the new console. So I was a little skeptical hearing about that. I was kind of like, oh man, I don't know if kind of like butcher this game. So I was kind of a little nervous, but then, you know, it released and here we are.
So would you say your expectations were high when you were first coming into this game?
No.
Why is that?
I saw some of the cutscenes and stuff. I thought that it looked a little weird at first. I didn't know how the game was going to play out, just having a wand, and I didn't know how the spells... They really made it... I can't even explain. Like, it's actually really good, but I was not expecting that coming into the game.
All right, so we'll get a little bit more into why it's good. Edgar, I'm curious, how did you hear about the game?
I feel like when they first started sending out clips for this game, it was when like the PSR was like first out. So I'm like, okay. I used to like the Harry Potter movie. I wasn't a crazy big fan of it. Like, I didn't read the books. I would make fun of kids for reading the book, but the movie was definitely fire. And then when you see the clips coming out, I'm like, yo, this is tough. I used to play this game called Wizard 101 on the PC.
Oh, man.
Wow, throwback.
Oh,
That's
I know,
great.
bro. I used to be on that game till like 3, 4 in the morning playing that game, bro. Like, I would, every time we went to like Toys R Us, I would buy the $50 thing that comes with a crib and like some corn. Bro, I had the plans, I had all the pets, bro. I was chilling in that game. So I'm like, all right, bet they finna bring out some Wizards games to like the console and stuff. I'm like, all right, this game finna be tough.
Yeah, so your boy Edgar was already a master wizard.
Yeah, Edgar.
He was already a master wizard. He was like, man, Hogwarts is already a natural transition. That's crazy that you brought that up because I used to be a fiend on Wizard 101 too. How about you, Marc? You never played it?
No, I never played. I might have hopped on it once, but no, it was more of a RuneScape.
That was an era, bro. That was really an era in just the internet and gaming. You know, it's very interesting. Maybe we could do an episode on Wizard 101 just when we get back on it. I remember the last time I got back on that game was like maybe a year and a half ago. I was just like, let me just see what's to this game, you know? And it definitely feels like an early 2000s game. Like, you could tell, like...
You could tell it definitely has some replay value.
No, for sure.
So I got a question for you guys.
What's up?
Since you've seen the movies, do you think the game lives up to the movies and or books if you read it?
That's a great question. You know, I read the books. I watched the movies. My mom and I used to love going to see the movies together. I was really into the Harry Potter franchise, so much to the point where I used to buy the wands and shit. Like, I used to order them from online. Try to, like, you feel me? I had Harry Potter's wand. I had Professor Snape's wand, Dumbledore's wand. I was really collecting them. And I definitely do feel like it lives up to it. You know, I get on the game and kind of get lost in this world. You know, the music that's playing in the background, the characters.
Yeah, bro. The music soundtrack for the game is crazy. Like I literally just
Mhm.
be sitting there just to hear the music in the background.
Right? Like they did their thing with the
Yeah.
music, man. They just
Yes, I saw one thing leading into the game. The developers were showing the game and they were saying that anything you see, you can explore. So I find that pretty cool that like literally in Hogwarts, there's so many rooms that you can first you have to level up, of course, but like everything you see you can explore. There's puzzles, different rooms. Every house has their own main room. Like it's insane.
even outside of Hogwarts too, like in some of the maybe in Diagon Alley where you can walk around and just pet a cat. You know, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
like little things
Bro.
like that just show you that this is not like a an EA game where they kind of just took 2 years and like rushed this game out. This
Yeah,
is
you
really,
could tell they definitely cared about
this
it.
is really a passion project, right? These people
Yeah.
cared about this world and kind of bringing it to life through this
Bro, I
medium.
don't even like petting the cat because after you pet the cat, bro, when they make that cat noise, it sounds like a human, not even a real cat.
They couldn't get a real cat to do the audio for the thing. That's funny.
Yeah.
hmm
So back to the question of how we first kind of heard about the game. The way I heard about it was on TikToks a lot. You know, I personally don't use
Yeah.
TikToks, but people around me do, and they were kind of talking about the game. And it's interesting to see people who don't even game kind of just curious about this experience, right? And I was intrigued, and then it took me a while, but I eventually purchased it. It's a bit expensive, $69.99. I wonder if it's that price on everything
Yeah,
else.
a lot of games are $70 now. They upped it. Next gen, man.
But I gotta say it was worth it despite a lot of the controversy that was originally, attached to it. J.K. Rowling is not in the best light right now due to her comments on the LGBTQ community. And so I guess the question that I have now is, have you guys heard about that controversy? And if so, like, did that affect your wanting to play this game at all? Or
Yeah, that's definitely a sensitive topic. But no, I saw that a lot of people they said the developers, the game, she had nothing to do with the game. But obviously she did create the world.
right.
And you got to acknowledge that. But the people making the game, they don't have an ill intent. People grew up watching these movies. There's a lot of nostalgia with it,
For
I
sure.
mean, I heard something else. I heard that girl from the bar scene. I heard they purposely put that in there because of J.K. Rowling being hating those kind of people. That's what I heard.
That's interesting.
Oh,
What
in the
bar
game,
scene?
yeah.
Elaborate on that.
In the game, you don't remember there's a woman in the bar, and when they talk, you just hear like it just sounds very masculine.
Mm.
So a lot of people were posting that on TikTok, and they were really confused on like what was going on because it just came from left field. You didn't really expect it,
Yeah, that's when you're going to Diagon Alley at first, and you're going
Yeah.
with like either Sebastian or Nat's Eye, and you're like exploring, and then you finally meet the villain, right?
Yeah, the first villain, the
Yeah.
goblin or whatever that thing is.
Yeah, it was a really interesting scene. It really gets you into the game. I guess we can start talking about that. How the story really pulls you into this world. If you first start off and you're with this professor, what's his name? Can someone remind me his name?
Professor Fig.
Fig.
Yeah, Professor.
And you're a fifth year student, so you're not like a regular, freshman coming into Hogwarts. You're kind of already older than the rest of the students, and you somehow find your way to Hogwarts. Which I like that dynamic to it, because I think it kind of explains why you progress very quickly and you can learn all these spells and do all these amazing things right off the bat. But just coming into Hogwarts with Professor Fig was quite an experience, and that really pulled me into the game and the story. So what were your guys' experiences when you first got into the game? What were your thoughts of this world?
I'll start out. When I first hopped on the game and I saw just in the distance the graphics, just the world of Harry Potter, kind of made you feel like a kid. I don't know if you guys ever been to like Universal or anything.
Yeah, I have.
When you go into Hogwarts, man, when you're in there, it just feels like you're part of that world. So I think the game did a really good job of like making you feel like you're actually a student in Hogwarts,
Yeah, capturing the Hogwarts kind of vibe, so to say. The music, again, just really pulls you in there. The sorting hat, right? Like getting placed. Did you guys allow the sorting hat to place you, or did you just decide to say, I'm going to still pick my house?
I let it pick me out because I'm not gonna lie. When I hopped on the game, Like, my first thought was that I'm just gonna be devious. I'm just gonna have to be the master of dark arts. So I'm like, put me in Slytherin. Every option I could pick to be just devious, I picked every option I could.
That's funny. For me, I initially wanted to join Ravenclaw because I saw nobody was like, everyone was leaning towards Slytherin and Gryffindor, and then I saw people were kind of just making fun of Hufflepuff, so I thought, I'd put Ravenclaw on the map, and I kind of just chose the questions, and it just landed that way.
That's what's up, because you already had kind of an idea where you wanted to end up.
Yeah, I put it into this earth.
That's awesome.
And they just knew.
And
But about the Slytherin and Edgar being a demon, I don't know if you've seen a lot of memes that have been going around, especially on TikTok. I've been seeing a lot of things about Avada Kedavra, and that was definitely a big thing coming into the game because everyone was wondering if you could be good or bad, and if you're just gonna have Avada Kedavra your classmates.
Man, you can't even do that, bro. Like, if you were able to do that, bro, I would get rid of the whole school. Like, you can't even do that.
What's
bro.
wrong with this guy?
That's kind of
No, but I just thought that was very funny. A lot of memes have come out of this game, and that also kind of brought me into getting the game.
No, for sure. It shows how, a lot of people are really getting into this story and into this world, so to say. It's interesting how, you kind of, Edgar, you were attracted to being Slytherin, because I kind of also wanted to be Slytherin. I feel like in real life I'm a very, nice person. Wouldn't do a lot of the things that a Slytherin would do. That's why in the game I wanted to kind of explore that. And so I named myself Tom Riddle. It picked me Ravenclaw, and I still went, I'm going to be Slytherin, because I wanted to, play through as Tom Riddle. I haven't really played through that story because I actually went ahead and made another character that's more like myself, that's actually a Ravenclaw. And I've been having a lot of fun with the Ravenclaw playthrough. Now, this brings me to another topic. There are different playthroughs of the game depending on your house, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Then they said that if you have Ravenclaw, you have the most missions.
No. I believe it was Gryffindor was the most missions. Obviously, because of Harry Potter and everything, but I'm pretty sure Ravenclaw had the deepest lore. I think that's what they used. That was the word. The story is it wasn't as long, but it had more depth to it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
There was more behind the story.
That would make sense because Ravenclaws are all about that, right? They're intelligent. They're really into reading and understanding the history, the story behind things. Gryffindor is more brave and just willing to go out there and explore. It's really interesting. I personally have not gotten too far in the game. I think I'm maybe level 6 now. So
you're really in the beginning, huh?
Yeah, my favorite spells are probably going to be Accio, Levioso, just being able to lift up my opponent or bring them closer to me. I also really like Incendio. I think that's it. That's a great spell, just being able to flame somebody. That's really fun. So what are some of your guys' favorite spells?
Yeah, well, especially the ones you said. Those are very good starter spells, but they follow you to the end of the game. There's so many spells to choose from, and the basic ones, they always get the job done. But for me, I really like Confringo. I love how, it literally is just a circle of fire. Anything around you is getting hit by that. That's one of my go-tos, but definitely Accio and Expelliarmus are really good. Because for some reason, even against certain enemies, you can't disarm anything, but it does a lot of damage for me. But Levioso, too, is a very good one. What about you, Edgar?
See, y'all some babies. I'm a level 32 right now. I basically got all the spells unlocked. Right now, I'm trying to get all the curse spells, but definitely my favorite spell is Imperio. And then, what's the other one? I think it's called Crucifix.
This guy really is a Slytherin, huh?
And then I'm waiting to unlock Avada Kedavra, and that's going to be number 1. I still haven't unlocked that one yet.
So what does that do in the game? For those people who don't know what Avada Kedavra is, what does that do? What does that spell do in Hogwarts Legacy?
That is an instant kill. Doesn't matter who your enemy is.
That's real Slytherin, isn't it?
It's real Slytherin. But that's another thing on the game living up to the Harry Potter world is that they kept that in the game. It doesn't matter what boss you fight, what level you are. If you use Avada Kedavra, it's a one-shot kill. And that's pretty cool that they kept that in the game.
That is
a little
really
OP,
cool.
But it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you would think that would kind of, take away from a lot of the other mechanics that the developers try to put in the game. right? Like a one-shot kill. But is there any way you can miss? Probably with the Avada Kedavra, like there's got to be some like, balance.
It has a long cooldown. I want to say the cooldown is probably like a minute and 30 seconds.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
So you can't just go spamming around Avada Kedavra. You gotta wait a little bit.
How does that cooldown work? Because sometimes I get into fights. I just became the dueling champion, so shout out to me.
The underground
dueling champion. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was really fun.
I recommend it. But I noticed that my wand will sometimes like I'll try to cast a spell and I'll like shake because I don't have magic or something. Why is that happening?
It's your cooldown's just not over.
So there's a cooldown.
You may have to give it a second or two. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So with the fighting, have you noticed the certain bubbles? Like when you were in the underground fighting thing, did you see the different colors? Like, did you notice that? When they would play defense, they would put up with certain...
Yeah, the different colors. I read the tutorial where it tells you, like, depending on the bubble, you might have to use Incendio.
Yeah,
if it's red,
so if it's red,
if it's like
purple...
green, you need Accio.
I thought that was really
purple,
cool.
You need Levioso. Does that carry to the end of the game? Is that something that you really find yourself having to, work around?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to always... In your item slots, you got to have certain spells and just know where they are. I find that really cool, though, that you can switch between multiple spells.
Yeah.
It's... The way they did the game, hats off to them because I was not expecting this when the game came out.
Yeah, man. Hats off to Portkey Games for doing what they did with this game. You can tell they didn't take a regular kind of development process on this. I really enjoy the little things like being able to spin the globes or going around Hogwarts and just interacting with like the mermaid statues. It's the little things.
The Merlin trials.
The Merlin trials. Oh,
you know about that?
I don't.
Oh, no. You see, you can't be spoiling the game for this guy, man. It's only
right,
a level
man.
6.
It's all right.
You get there like in level 10, level 12. It's like you
heard it. That's 4 levels right there.
Like these little circle payment things, and then you sprinkle some little flux weed. You have to grow that like in your room, and you go like to these Merlin trials all around the world, and then like each different trial has like a different puzzle. You got like one puzzle.
Oh yeah.
Wingardium Leviosa something to this, or you gotta destroy like these stone bricks or these balls.
Yeah, it's very definitely gotta think.
Yeah.
It's not I like games like that. Like I feel like a lot of games are copying. I don't know if you played The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, I played
Breath of the Wild, but a lot of games are taking inspiration from that. Where just like Harry Potter, Hogwarts. If you see something, you can explore it, and there's a lot of puzzles. It's not very simple.
Very PvE. Yeah. I like that about Breath of the Wild. You can interact with literally everything in the world, and I mean, we've talked about Breath of the Wild a whole lot on this podcast. Definitely check out some of those old episodes, as well as we're going to have a lot of content coming out for the new Breath of the Wild. I'm really excited about that. But back to Hogwarts. What are your thoughts on this being a single-player experience? Do you still have hope for online gameplay?
Yeah, coming into the game, I was really hoping they had Quidditch. Like, I really wanted to play that. I don't know how it would play out in the game, but also just playing with your friends. Coming into the game, I thought it was multiplayer. So that was another thing that was getting me excited, is like going to school with your friends in the wizard world like that. That just sounded really cool to me, but sadly, we don't have it yet. But I think definitely in the future, they may come out with some type of DLC. Hopefully.
What are the chances? What do you see? Edgar, what do you see? Because you've seen more of the game already. Do you think that it's possible that the Portkey Games could just throw in a multiplayer facet? How likely are you seeing that?
I don't think it's likely at all. Like, I think, if I'm being honest, I think they put too much into the game as a single player game. So like there's just like no space to make it multiplayer. But I definitely do see Quidditch coming in a DLC. Because, like, when you go around the world, there's so many, like, Easter eggs about it. Like, people always talking about, like you could rock a whole Quidditch uniform. Like, so I definitely feel like it's going to come out as DLC.
Interesting. Damn, on top of the $70 they already asked for, that's crazy. But I guess that's the market we live in nowadays. Man, I really had a lot of hope for online gameplay. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I initially thought it was an online game. That's why I bought it right away. I was like, damn, Hogwarts Legacy. Like, I thought of Elden Ring. I thought about just being able to, like, kind of explore this world with friends. But for some reason it wasn't. And I'm not upset about it. The single-player experience is definitely it's a whole world of its own. But, you know, it would be nice to be able to play Quidditch against friends. Or maybe that'll be probably a DLC, like it'll be a multiplayer facet of Quidditch, like you just play game mode. I don't know, I'm being hopeful. We'll see, I guess. But yeah, tell me some more about these Merlin trials. I'm really curious about them. Like, so these are just puzzles that you unlock throughout the world?
Yeah, it's like when you complete one, it gives you more space in your inventory.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's something you really like. You
Can't
really want
avoid.
to get in you want to get in the habit of doing it, because sometimes when you finish the quest, they'll throw you an item, and if you don't have enough space, you can never go back to get that item. Like, you're just out of luck.
I noticed that. Like for me, when I would go to certain areas in the map, if there was a chest and I didn't have enough space in my inventory, I would have to physically go in my inventory and get rid of an item. Just to pick this one up, but not knowing what it is. So it's kind of like that. You really got to pick and choose what you want to get rid of, because you may never see it again, like you said.
That's kind of how they force you to interact with like different aspects of the game, right? Because I'm assuming you would have to, like Edgar said, you would have to grow this kind of flower in your room, and then that would allow you to be able to access the Merlin trials. So they're kind of teaching you how to utilize different parts of the game.
Yeah. Talking about the room where you grow your flower, I don't mean to spoil it for you guys, but you get this thing called the Room of Requirements. And so what that is basically like your own room. You get to customize it, put any carpets, any kind of paintings. But then as you go through the game, you unlock, like, I guess you would call it like a zoo. Like, you'll get 3 zoos. Like, you have one where it's all like land, and you could like capture animals out, like beasts, with like a bag, and you bring them to your zoo. Or when you bring them to your zoo, you could like breed them, and like when you feed them, you brush them, and you get the item that they come with, and you could use that to level up. Or you could go back to Hogsmeade and go to the spot where you could sell them. So you're basically saving them from poachers.
I see.
And so that whole part right there is just, I find that so tough. Like, I literally have all different kind of animals stuck up in my zoo. I got the hippogriffs, I got the platypus looking one.
Oh man, that makes me think a lot about that movie, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Yeah. Bro, you know what's so crazy? I think the game is more closer to Fantastic Beasts than it is to Hogwarts.
To Harry Potter. Yeah, well, also you got to think about it. This game is 100 years before Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So that also plays a factor.
That is actually a question I had. What is the storyline of the game, and how does it fit into the larger Harry Potter universe?
Well, I think it kind of builds into that, because in Harry Potter, especially when they talk about, like Voldemort, for example, right? They never really use his name. They just say he who shall not be named.
Right.
So it kind of like builds onto that lore where technically like you can make your character and that could be him, like in your mind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. You can just build your own little story,
Your own legacy.
but it has everything, you know.
But you're basically trying to master your ancient magic. That's what the whole story is based upon. Like, you're going back to how Hogwarts was created, the 4 headmasters, and then you're that 5th year, like you're that student who has the capability of seeing ancient magic. Like, you can see it around the world and grow your skill.
In ancient magic.
In ancient magic, yes. Like, that's that power you use when you do L1 and R1. That's your ancient magic right there.
Very powerful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I have another question here. How might Hogwarts Legacy influence future developments in the Harry Potter universe, such as new books or movies? Do you see that happening?
Well, they already announced it. I think they're making a new movie already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but game-wise, I don't really know how you would top this one, unless it would be a direct sequel or something.
Maybe an online MMORPG.
Yeah, but from that, I don't know if you want to remake the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're saying, like, keep this kind of storyline that Portkey Games had established.
Yeah,
and just
I don't
work
just
off of that.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like what Breath of the Wild's about to do. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe even make new spells, new places to go, Who knows?
That was a criticism I had. I was talking to one of my classmates about my podcast and, how I was talking about Hogwarts. And he was telling me how he was upset that there was only about 23 spells, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with how many spells there are in the Harry Potter universe, but to me, that seems like an adequate amount. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, I don't think it was really a big deal to me because I find myself only using really like 4 or 5 spells unless I really have to,
Right.
like in the trial or whatever, any puzzle. But yeah, besides that, I'm basically using the basic spells. But yeah,
I think the number of spells is like I don't even pay no mind. Like, I think 23 is a perfect amount. I can honestly enjoy any spell I do. I mean, some of the corny spells, I don't really be messing with. I don't touch them. Like anything that causes me destruction, like that's what I'm chilling with.
That sounds very Slytherin of me.
yeah, this guy's. I don't know what's wrong with this guy. I don't know who hurt him.
Why you heard me? It's just like, bro, you just love playing that game where you just get to be evil because you gotta be staying your whole life being a good man, being a good boy. And sometimes you just gotta just relax and just be evil.
I don't know. I couldn't let that bone take over. I've always wanted to be the good guy, so I stuck with my roots. Maybe I played the middle. I'm playing both sides. I don't know. Those professors, they ask too many questions, so I'll give them a bad answer. But at the end of the day, I'm more there not to really hurt anybody.
Yeah, the professors
unlike you.
The professors are really like they're very professory. Like they just want to know
very. You just want to
why.
They talk too much, especially the lady.
Yeah,
the
I
old
was
lady.
just
I forgot
about
her
to
name.
say that.
I forgot.
Weasley.
Professor Weasley.
Like it's
She
cool
be
because
all
she's
up in
related to
business.
Ron somehow down the family tree. But besides that, we can get rid of her.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I have another question here. We're gonna open up kind of the context here. How does Hogwarts Legacy compare to other popular open world games, such as Elden Ring or Skyrim or The Witcher 3?
Yeah, as you say, Elden Ring. I think a lot of games are taking inspiration from that, especially being Game of the Year. But it's just how can you top that open world, very customizable with your characters? There's just so many things you could do. I think a lot of games are just going to take inspiration from that and just build, you know?
Yeah, for sure. What kind of other titles have you seen come out recently that kind of take on, the Elden Ring formula, if you will?
Honestly, none that I really know. Like, one game I kind of saw that I had high hopes for was Forspoken. I thought maybe seeing how Elden Ring played out, they would do something similar to that, but that game, that definitely disappointed me. Disappointed me big time. I was riding with it since it
The
was
game
called
was
Project
garbage.
Athena when the PS5 released. But that one. If we're gonna talk about games that flopped, that was one of them.
Damn. Why do you think it flopped?
It had a lot of build up to it, especially with the new console. They had all the hardware to do whatever they want, and the game just kind of felt rushed. It got delayed, but it didn't feel like a complete game when you played it. And you definitely saw a lot of complaints from a lot of people.
I wonder who was the developer in that game, because oftentimes I see that happening with like big game developers like EA, like 2K. They kind of get rushed into these timelines, and they can't really give us like good solid game like they would want to. They kind of just put things out, and we kind of just have to deal with it.
Yeah, but it's crazy that you're saying that. But that game Forspoken was like they was talking about that game before the PS5 even
Yeah, it
came
was
out.
supposed to come out with the PS5.
Yeah, and that game looked like it came out for the PS4. Like they really slept on that
Big
game.
time. That's totally big disappointment. I was super excited. I was an advocate for that game, but I didn't even buy it. I didn't even end up buying it. I played the demo, and that was enough for me.
Oh man. Well, I guess back to Hogwarts Legacy. What kind of audience is Hogwarts Legacy likely to appeal to, and what impact could the game have on the broader gaming industry?
I think anybody. This game is made for literally anybody to play. Like you could literally customize in any way. Like even for the black culture, like you could have dreads, cornrows. Like I really like that they put that in the game because most games they're giving you a normal hairstyle, but you could literally rock cornrows in the game. And that's tough for me. So I feel like anybody could really play Hogwarts. Like it's not really made for just a set group of people.
So yeah, to build on that, I think that Hogwarts kind of made it cool to play Harry Potter. Like I feel like a lot of people back then they'd probably be embarrassed to like say they read a Harry Potter book or if they like Harry Potter.
Hmm.
But this game, like just the memes, the gameplay, they just made it cool. I feel like it makes it cool for a lot of these games or shows that people just don't want to talk about. Like Star Wars is even coming out, and that game's one of the most talked about games I've heard. So it's just,
No, yeah, Star Wars is. We're excited for that
yeah,
one.
I think it's just making people just, they open up. They get to just try different things. I bet this game brought in a lot of people who didn't like Harry Potter before.
Where do you think that comes from? Like, for example, when I first bought this game, Naomi saw me downloading it. She was like, "You're such a nerd." Like, where do you think this idea comes from of, like, just wanting to explore these universes or playing video games in general, or is like a nerdy thing to do? Where do you guys think that idea comes from?
I think it's just people just building on what they've heard before, just following trends until they actually play it and enjoy it. So I just think it's more people following than anything.
That's a good answer. What are your thoughts, Edgar?
Yes, the question again?
Where do you think that, like, connotation of, playing a game like Star Wars or Harry Potter, or even reading a Harry Potter book, that these things, like, make you nerdy, where do you think that comes from?
I think it's more just like it's not the real world. You're always trying to be like a cartoon character or a nonfiction character that would make you want to be like somebody call you like a nerd.
Yeah.
But like sometimes it's great to just imagine.
Yeah, you don't always gotta be too serious. I mean, that's what a lot of things are more popular nowadays, even anime. Like
For sure.
people I talk to that are way older than me say how if you liked anime, you're getting bullied. For us, like it's just a lot of things becoming normal, especially with social media. All these clips is getting out there more. People are starting to understand why you're watching and playing these different things. Like just giving it a chance, honestly. I didn't like a lot of these things when I was younger. And as I got older, I was like, oh, wow, I missed out on this for this many years. Like this is great.
I think it takes a specific kind of person to be open to new experiences, something you may not be too familiar with, but you're still willing to try it and learn. And that's definitely something you have to do when playing a game like Hogwarts. I feel like, even for me, I was like a little on the fence about spending $70 on this game, but it was worth it for sure. I started playing it and I got sucked into this world. So yeah, I definitely think Hogwarts Legacy appeals to a very large audience, and that's kind of what they were going for. They kind of wanted to have just about anybody get into this experience and have a good time. So if you're unsure about it, I would definitely say, pull the trigger and just try it out. If you can, if you can borrow the game from a friend, just to be sure, I would do it. I think it's totally worth it.
Mm-hmm.
What are your overall thoughts on Hogwarts Legacy and the potential it has to live up to the high expectations of Harry Potter fans around the world?
To be honest, I don't know. It's a great game, but I don't think it's like topping God of War. I don't think it's topping Elden Rings. But if we're strictly just talking about like as being a great game for the Hogwarts community, I think it's pretty good. Like
Yeah, I
made
agree.
people to enjoy like the story while you're in the story. Like Mark said earlier, like you're the dude who should not be named. Like you're literally him.
You're creating your story.
Exactly.
But yeah, definitely it just brought in a lot of people into the Harry Potter world that they never understood or even tried to learn about. But yeah, like he said, it's good. It's a really good game. I just don't think it's like a game of the year. Like there's a lot of games coming out and it's gonna have to hold its own. It's gonna have to hopefully live up to the hype, but we'll see.
What are some games you think are going to be in close contention with Hogwarts Legacy?
Are you talking about like games that are gonna be similar or games that are just gonna do way better numbers?
The latter.
Dude, there's so many games coming out this year, especially games that definitely had time to adjust to the new hardware. You got Spider-Man coming out. You
Wait,
got,
there's a new Spider-Man coming out?
dude, fall 2023.
Oh,
You get to
man.
play as Miles Morales, and Venom's the main villain.
Oh,
So it's
man.
gonna be, yeah, it's
My
gonna be insane.
pockets.
Yeah, you're definitely that extra $10 is gonna hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be worth it, though. It sounds like I had a great time with that experience. I was Spider-Man. I played Spider-Man 1, I played Miles Morales. It was a really good time.
Oh yeah, you better get me back on the podcast for that one.
Oh, for sure.
I will have a list of things going on. That would be a 3-hour podcast.
I think that Spider-Man was definitely better than Miles Morales. Like it was cool that in Miles Morales you had more like freedom. Like you felt like you was just like a kid.
Yeah, that's what it was, man. They
Yeah,
built on the system. The story of the first one was amazing, but the
yeah,
Yeah,
mechanics of the second one.
it was crazy. Like,
Now they just you combine the two and you're gonna get game of the year.
easily.
mm,
But I guess let's not get too off topic here.
Yeah.
We can talk about, I guess, our favorite quest line in Hogwarts Legacy. I know there's a lot of quest lines. Edgar, I know you've probably seen a bunch. I'm curious to hear what yours are. Same with you, Mark. I know you've seen your fair share of quests. What quest line did you have the most fun so far?
my favorite quest was with the girl Poppy. Her name is Poppy. You get this quest because she's trying to teach you about like poachers, and poachers are like people who like steal beasts and like abuse them and try to sell them for money, which I find crazy because it's literally you could literally do the same thing. You literally go to Hogsmeade to sell animals into a safer home. But probably what she does is like she find out that poachers they have like a little hideout, and when you go to this hideout, there's dragons fighting. Literally, they have a dragon fight. I'm like, bro, I'm like in my head like, bro, am I about to get a dragon right now? Are you about to give me a free dragon? And then so like we go in there and we like, wait, should I tell the whole quest or not?
Yeah. Go for it. Spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear about this part, maybe skip ahead.
Yeah. So like, what happened? All right, so you go there, you stop them in the fight, and like, there's like the last dragon where this dragon is just chilling there, but you find the egg, and apparently I heard that you could like you're supposed to keep the egg. So I was sitting there, I'm like, do I really have to return this egg? Because if I keep this dragon egg, I get my own dragon. And so when you get close to like the next part of the quest, the girl Poppy goes like, we have to go bring the egg back to the dragon so it calms down. I'm like, nah, don't do this to me.
Better could never. We should just stop there right
Exactly.
there.
Like, let me keep this egg. Like, why? I don't want to give it back. And so like when you go and try to give it back, like you're at a castle, you literally have the dragon like it fires like fireballs at you, and you have to like hide behind walls. And like the cinematic of that scene is like so cool. Like literally all you see is like you trying to duck and hide from the fireballs being thrown at you. So that part I enjoyed. And then when it comes like close to the end and you return the dragon egg, which I was so upset. Like the dragon just calms down, and like the girl, she like pets the dragon, and like all of a sudden like you guys are like friends. So that was honestly my favorite quest so far.
Yeah, that sounds like one hell of a quest line. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't wait to do that. Around what level was that?
I want to say I can't even answer that because I did too many side quests. So like I'm ahead of the game.
I see.
Yeah, so I was doing that quest at level 30.
Oh wow.
Oh, so to build on that, how do you play the game, Brandon? What would you go about? Are you more of like just getting right to it, main quest, or are you looking at every single little thing?
Nah, yeah. Right now. I'm at the point where I'm just trying to progress past the game. So I've just been like ignoring the side quests here and there, and they seem a little tedious
kind of what
too.
I do.
So I'm just like, I just want to, see the story and learn more about the ancient magic. I recently, I'll go ahead and get right into my favorite quest, was when Sebastian and I had to sneak into the forbidden part of the library.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I had to use I think it's Revelio. I had to use, what spell is it?
I forget what it's called.
Is it M something? I forgot. I know exactly what you're talking
Basically,
about.
it's a spell that allows me to be transparent, I guess, right? I turn into a ghost for a brief period of time.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to just interact with the world in that way. I think about, Harry Potter scenes where he's wearing the cloak of vanishing, and correct me if that's not the name. He's hiding around Hogwarts trying to, uncover secrets. That's a lot like what it felt like. And I had my classmate Sebastian there with me to help me. And we had to like use our wand to kind of distract the paintings and the staff that's working at Hogwarts. And that was really cool to just interact with the world in that way. Just seeing the layers of NPCs, right? Not only do we have the librarian, we had, this painting that was willing to snitch on you, literally a painting on the wall. And then at the end, like, I thought I was scot-free. I thought I'd gone to this book and uncovered these things. And then there's this, like, ghost.
Clown.
This
Yeah,
clown
clown
ghost.
Yeah.
That
What's
dude
his
is
name?
after you, bro. The whole game, he's after you,
Yeah,
bro.
he's a hater. I just walk around Hogwarts and that dude's just floating through the sky, through the roof, the floor. He always has an eye on you, though. There's a lot of things in that game that have an eye on you. Just keep it pushing.
See, that dynamic of it is just it's another lit facet to the game that kind of just brings you deeper into the world and makes you appreciate, Portkey Games for paying attention to the detail like that and including that into the game. So, yeah, I really appreciate that quest line, just sneaking around and having a good time. At first, I thought it was a little bit annoying, if I'm being honest, but it kind of grew on me. What's your favorite quest, Mark?
Honestly, I'm just as far as you. Probably the first trial. That was probably one of my first ones because it just made you really think. And there's a lot of treasure to explore, a lot of items that you get. So yeah, around that would probably be good. And also the underground fight club that they have going on in Hogwarts. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was tough. I like that a lot. I played through that side quest the whole way. I was just like, I want to see.
Yeah, it didn't even stop, right? Just walked out,
Yeah.
foo flamed, came back,
Yep.
right there.
Just murked him.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I struggled a little bit, but I got through. I was like, wait, do I have to do some more quests to level up a bit? And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna tough it out and just, get it right. And that's something about the game I like too, that like you don't necessarily need a spell or a specific level. Like if you have the user skills, you can progress past the quest or defeat an enemy. So that's really cool.
Yeah. One thing that's been getting at me with this game is it's all the little comments that each side character has, man. You can't just walk in peace in that game. They always got something to say.
They always got something to say. That's why Edgar has beef. That's why Edgar wants to evade cadavra students.
Right?
That's why I didn't have multiplayer or, hurting students, because it would just be a Vada Kedavra war.
Yeah, now that I think about it, that does
Everyone
sound,
would be running around.
that sounds like negative press, I'm not gonna lie. Like a game where kids in this school can just go around just hurting each other. Especially in this current world that we're living in America specifically. That seems very troublesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be able to walk around. It'd be like a GTA lobby over there in Hogwarts.
No, but I've seen clips on TikTok where people mod the game. Like it was one mod where they had the Glock, and your wand was a Glock.
Oh my god!
They made their wand a Glock. Yep. They made it where you could Avada Kedavra your students, teachers.
Oh my god!
The mod community is crazy, man. There's so much things they're doing over there.
So where are you guys seeing the mod community, mainly on TikTok or YouTube?
Yeah, TikTok is a big thing. You just see a lot of people with wands that are Glocks. They're just going around just being menaces. I can't even explain it. That's all it really is.
Well, I think one quest you guys are going to like is called the Dalian Keys. I don't know if you guys remembered in the Harry Potter movie where Professor Dumbledore leaves Harry Potter in a room and he has these keys are flying, right? And he has to find the right key. You know what I'm talking about?
I vividly remember, but that goes into the lore of the movies. That they're very...
What Harry Potter movies are?
I think it's the Chamber of Secrets.
That's the first one.
That's the first one, right? I think that's what it was. But basically, in the game, they're called the Dalian Keys. And basically, you'll see them and they'll make a little noise. You'll hear them buzzing. And if you follow them, they take you to this little artifact. And when you open it, you get these keys. And if you get all 16 of the keys, you get an outfit for your house.
Wait, you get to have a house in this game? I thought you just had your dorm.
Yeah, your dorm. My fault.
He's talking about the house, Ravenclaw.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, there's a special outfit that you get for each house.
I thought it was like Skyrim for a second. You could go buy a house in, what is this place called? What are these cities? Hogsmeade. You go by and find the house there. That reminds me of one of the early quests in Hogsmeade where these giants just fucking come crashing through buildings and you have to take down the giants. And I was at first I was there's no way I'm about to fight these giants, but they really did have me fight them with my wand and my basic wand. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a great way to introduce combat.
No, it really was.
For me, it felt a little slow in the beginning. Besides, graphically, it looked really good. But, gameplay-wise, I was like, all right, what am I getting myself into? and then they
So
just they throw a couple beasts at you, and from there you learn. It was fun.
that's what I'm saying. Like, this game is not even that hard. I literally play on the hardest difficulty, and it's still so easy. Like,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, anybody can
that's
play this
hard.
game.
That's what's hard about coming from Elden Ring, dying 100 times before you beat one boss.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Potter, you just hit, dodge roll.
Losing
That's
all
it.
your runes just to get past this one quest. Oh
Yeah.
man. Elden Ring.
That game, that's definitely game of the year.
That's an unforgiving game. I feel like Hogwarts Legacy is very it's more for kids. They're not going to be as unforgiving. These kids just might be like, "What? I'm not playing this again."
I feel you. That's definitely me. I literally be hopping like from game to game because I'd be just getting stuck in one part, and then like, all right, switch to the next game.
As you should. That's why you have multiple games.
Mm-hmm.
But man, what a title! I'm really grateful that this game was released this year and that I have it. I see myself definitely playing this game a year, 2 years from now, maybe picking it up, starting any playthrough. It's definitely a timeless piece. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely the best Harry Potter game you could play.
The only Harry Potter game you could play.
No, you got some nostalgic ones. You got the Lego Harry Potter games. You got the
No,
movie
you're right.
remakes. But, I mean, if we're going to talk about a whole experience, definitely this game is top tier.
And it'd be nice to put on the VR headset in this one. It's crazy.
No, I think you could though, low key.
You probably could with the PSVR.
Don't spread misinformation now.
Man, I've been thinking about getting a VR headset.
Yeah, me too.
Alright.
That's just an experience, man. Just being in a video game. Like, actually, it's crazy.
Just imagine being in your PlayStation dashboard and being able to pick things out with your hands.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we're
Watch a
probably going
YouTube
to
video like that.
end up getting to that.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time
Yeah,
before we get
it's
there.
right there. We live in the best time right now.
Yeah.
Video games.
Shout out to Carter. He's a friend of the podcast, and he has a YouTube channel. He makes a lot of VR content. He actually let Blake try the VR headset, and we had a great time. There's actually a video on our YouTube channel. Check that out. It's definitely coming soon. The Sticky Buns podcast will be making some VR content soon as well. So stay tuned for that.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't mess with that VR thing. Like, have you ever seen Ready Player One?
Yeah, I did.
You're scared of Ready Player One? I'm more scared of Sword Art Online, man. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
get stuck in one of those things.
Even that, bro. Like, I don't trust any of that. Especially when you have Elon Musk talking about putting a chip in your brain.
No, yeah, for real. It's going to get to the point where you got to do it just to keep up. Because I think about AI that's already available to us. For example, ChatGPT. Just using that to come up with ideas. For example, when I was coming up with questions for this episode, I gave ChatGPT kind of some guidelines, and he came up with
that.
10 solid questions that I asked you guys. Did a great job. And just seeing how the AI just outperforms humans.
Exactly. Bro, they even got an app where you could type. I forget what it's called. I saw it on TikTok.
That's what he's talking about, yeah. That's what he used.
No, bro. It's like where you could type in a text, so you buy a text a girl, and it gives you different options. You have unlimited riz with this app, bro. It's so hard for any of the dudes to fail now.
Oh man, that's actually genius.
Oh, man, I'll still find a way to fail.
Yeah, you gotta message us that app.
Yeah. Send me that after the pod.
I might
We'll exchange numbers.
I might pay money for that app. Oh man. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about as far as Hogwarts Legacy goes? Any lasting impressions?
No, I think we pretty much touched everything. Definitely, it's a good game. Not game of the year, but good game.
Yeah, it's calm.
Yeah, something to play for now.
If you guys had to rate it 0 out of 10, what would you give it?
Edgar, I'm gonna let you go first on that one. I don't want to sound like a bad guy.
Honestly, this is gonna be hard. I would say a 6.
Wow, you said
Okay,
6.
yeah.
I was gonna say 7, 7.5.
It's not crazy. I was gonna say 6.5. It's just it's not I don't fiend for the game. It's just so calm. I just relax.
Yeah, I agree. I guess I'll go next. I give it a solid 7 or 8. It's for what it is. it gets the job done. Yeah, there are some elements that I feel are missing, mainly the online component, Quidditch. There's some more obvious things, like I feel like the train could have been added into it as well, where you have to like go into like the fucking 7 3/4 like thing in the train. That could have been added. A lot of things could have been added to the game, but overall, great experience. Really sucks you into this world. I give it a solid 7.5.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good rating for it, 7.5.
Well, yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this first episode of the Sticky Buns podcast, where it's not just Blake and I, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. We've been doing this for about 2 years now, and it's always been Blake and I. This is the first time we ever bring on some guests. So definitely, pat yourselves in the back for coming through in a timely manner and putting together a great episode. I think this is great content. This episode definitely has some replay value. So shout outs to you guys. Really appreciate you.
Appreciate you, bro.
No, I appreciate you inviting us, man. It's definitely a pleasure.
You might think you motivated me to start a podcast. Might have to get you as a guest.
Oh, man, I love the sound of that, man. We can plug each other's podcasts. Well, yeah, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Sticky Buns podcast. You guys can support us on Patreon, tell a friend, follow us on Instagram, TikTok. We just really appreciate you guys tuning in. And as always, peace in the streets.
Peace.
Tut, tut. Hardly any of you remember that my favorite color is lilac.